So in our previous step, we have talked about who you're going to send the broadcast to, and that's where you put up your contact list with all the data. Now we'll talk about what you're going to send to. So what WhatsApp allows is for you to create a template, submit that template for approval, and once it is approved and it comes on your portal like this, approved, then you can use it to send out a broadcast to your contact list. So let's see how do you create a template. Again, just like the contacts section, your message templates would only be visible if your bot is deployed on WhatsApp. When you deploy the bot on WhatsApp, message templates become visible, and then you will see this button called as create new template. You can click on create new template and choose to create from scratch or from a template library. What we'll do here is to create a template from scratch for our business use case. Now, when you click on this, you get the first option to enter a template name. The only rules that you'll have to follow while creating a template is it cannot have any capital letters and it cannot have any spaces. So if you want to create a template name that is, let's say, something like text and media test, what you can do to signify spaces is put an underscore over here, but you cannot use any other special characters or any capital letters or any spaces in your template name. Then you can choose a language for your template and then the purpose of your template. Most of the times for WhatsApp broadcasting, it becomes a marketing type of a template. What we will be seeing here is also a marketing type of a template. Now, after you have chosen the purpose of your template, then comes the select the content of your template. Now, this is very important because what WhatsApp allows you to is to have 3 different type of these content. You can either send a text and media type of a template, which contains a single text with a media with few buttons inside it, right? Which is just one single template. Then what WhatsApp also allows you to do is send a carousel type of a template. Now, as the name suggests, you can have multiple cards in a single template and you can swipe through those cards to show multiple images, body content and buttons. And then final is your offer with coupon, which is you sending out an offer with a coupon code in it where a user can click on it and apply that coupon code on your website or wherever you are displaying that coupon code for. Let's start with text and media. So let's say I go ahead and click on text and media. In text and media, you have these 4 options, out of which body text is a mandatory option. So you can't really remove body text. So if you just choose body text, your template would just have a text. In case if you choose header, then you get an option to put either an image, video, document or a text itself in your header. Then if you choose a footer, it gives you an option to add a footer, and if you choose buttons, then you can go ahead and add multiple buttons. Up to 10 buttons are allowed on a simple text and media type of a template. This number of buttons decrease when you're using carousel templates or offer with coupon templates. Let's continue. So the moment you come up over here, then you start defining. So what you're doing here is not putting up an exact image or an exact video, but rather telling Meta what type of a content would be going in the header. So when you say image, it just means that you will be sending an image for which you will upload an initializing image from your end. Let's say I put up this image. This is a dummy image. Again, when you're putting up something as a dummy image, what it means is it will tell Meta that there is going to be an image in the header. It does not signify that this would be the final image that will always get sent to the people to whom you send this template in broadcast. When you're sending the broadcast, which you will see in the next step, you would realize that you get an option to choose the image over there. So please be very aware of that this is not a fixed image. This is just a placeholder for an image. When you're finally sending the broadcast, that's going to be the final image that you choose and send out to your users. Same goes for video or a text or a document. For now, let's say I go ahead with an image. Then I can go ahead and put up a body text. Let's say I put up my body text saying hi, right? And then after that, maybe I want to put up a text as a footer saying team ABC, right? Now, what if you remember we have put up the name in the contact list to a number. What we have also done is we have put up a city as well. What if we want to call that data and make this like a personalized template for these users? How you can do it is, again, these would be dynamically fetched values, right? So what you can do is add a variable through this button. So if you know that you will be calling the name over here, what you can do is hi add variable. It will automatically call a variable as 1. Then you go ahead, say welcome to ABC store, we are opening a new branch in your city, and then maybe you want to show the city name. So what you can do is go at the place and click on add variable. These variables will keep on increasing in the number, signifying that this is the first variable, second variable. Where do you define the value of these variables? Again, when you're doing the broadcast, these options come there. Now once you've done that, you've put up a footer as well, right? And then comes the buttons. So let's talk about these buttons. On a normal media and text type of a template, you can have a maximum of 10 buttons added. So you have button 1, you can have a button 2, you can have a button 3, you can have a button 4, and similarly up to 10 buttons. Now amongst these buttons, there are two types of buttons, either a quick reply button or a call to action button. Call to action button further are of two types, which is either URL or phone number. So what it means is that you can either have a quick reply button or a call to action button URL or a call to action button phone number, and even combine them together. So for example, let's say my first button is a quick reply button, my second button is also a quick reply button, but my third button I make as a call to action URL, right? You'll find that even though I made my third button as call to action URL, it automatically moved to the fourth button. The reason being that on Meta, the way they will arrange the template, or they want the template buttons arranged, is that only the first two buttons. So even though I made the third button as a URL button, it automatically got shifted to the fourth button. The reason being that what Meta says is, in these templates, if you have a URL button, it will always come below all your quick reply buttons. So if you have one quick reply button, URL will automatically come in the second. If you have two quick reply buttons, the URL will have to come in the third, right? So the precedence of the order for these buttons has to be all the quick reply buttons at the top, followed by all the URL buttons, followed by the phone number button. So if I add, let's say I make this button 3, as currently if you see, this is quick reply, so this is above your URL, but the moment I make this as phone number, you'll see that it automatically moves over here below quick replies, but with URL it's still up. But now if I go ahead and add another button, make it a URL, I cannot put up another phone number. The reason being that your call to action buttons will always come after your quick reply buttons. You can arrange it anyway, but you can have a maximum of only one phone number type of a call to action button. So if your third button is a call to action phone number, that's it. You can't have any more buttons with call to action phone number. Now, since we have already added button 4 as call to action URL and button 5 as call to action URL, if I click on add button, I would not see an option to change the type. So what it signifies is that in a template, you can have a maximum of only two call to action URL buttons or one call to action phone number buttons, whereas for quick reply, you can have all the buttons as quick reply. But if you're looking at the total overall mix, let's say if you have two call to action URL, which is the highest number of URLs you can have, one call to action phone number, which is the highest number of phone number buttons you can have, then you can have 7 other quick reply buttons. In our case, for now, what we'll do is just go ahead and delete these buttons, but the whole idea being two call to action URL button, one call to action phone number button, and then rest could be any number of quick reply buttons up to 10 that you want in the particular template. Now, what does a call to action URL button do? You get an option to put a URL over here. Let's say I put up https ngati.com, right? So when a user clicks on this button, they will automatically get redirected to this particular URL. Now, what if this is a call to action phone number? Then I'll go ahead and put a phone number over here. The moment I put a phone number over here, somebody clicks on this button, it will automatically take them to their phone's dial pad with this number already typed in, and they can dial this particular number. And then comes the third, which is quick reply. What happens in quick reply is not defined while making a template, because while making a template, you're just defining it's going to be a quick reply. On the bot, when you're actually doing a broadcast using this template, what you can do is use this quick reply type of a button to trigger any path on the builder. So you have multiple paths on the builder. Any path you want to trigger on the builder, that can happen through the quick reply type of a button. For now, we'll take the quick reply type of a button. Let's say click here, this one, and then we'll take stop promotions. Now stop promotions is a button which you would want to put up so that the end users who are not interested in your marketing do not mark your templates as spam, or do not mark your number as spam, right? So you ensure that you give them an option where they choose to be opted out for these kinds of these kind of content and these kind of overall marketing exercises. Now you can either make a button and name it stop promotions, and if you don't want to do this manual effort, what you can do is maybe I can remove this button, and we give you an option called as enable opt-out. You click on the toggle over here and it automatically creates a quick reply button. Now your stop promotions can never be anything else. The reason being, if you make your stop promotions the call to action button, you will redirect the user, right? But your whole idea over here is to make a quick reply button so that you can trigger a path on the bot. Say a simple message you want to send out to the user saying, sure, we have opted you out from our promotions and all that, right? So enable opt out, we would suggest for you to keep out as a quick reply type of a button. When these stop promotions are there, and once your initial button is there, again you could have chosen any other thing. Just for the sake of showing, I'm putting up quick reply button rather than URL and phone numbers. Once you have done your templated, you can have a preview over here, and then I can click on request approval. One more thing to remember is, again, this button says stop promotions, but this is just a quick reply type of a button. Which button will exactly do the work of stop promotions? As I said, when you're doing the broadcast, you will then choose the actual action of that quick reply type of button. It will make more sense when you go through the third step to see what happens, where you choose a particular path to trigger through a quick reply type of a button. Now I can click on request approval. Since there are variables over here, which when you're sending the broadcast, as I said, you will call the attributes to fill out the value. But over here, initially you will have to go ahead and put some dummy value. You can put your name, you can put ABC, you can put XYZ, doesn't matter. What you're telling is that there will be some text value being passed from our end in the template over here. Whatever that value is will get associated through contact list by calling an attribute while doing the broadcast in that particular step. Once you've defined these sample values, then you can click on confirm. The moment you click on confirm, and then it goes for approval, right? Once it goes for approval, it would come up over here as under approval. Once it gets approved, then you can go ahead and create or use that template to send a broadcast. And that's about the first type of a template.